How about now? Can you hear us now?
Ah.
Lots of clicking going on. Hopefully you can hear us. Yay!
Yay!
We'll go back to the build space then. For some reason, hey, thanks Richard. For some reason, OBS doesn't like to remember the fact that these wireless Go-2s are the default that I want for that view that you're currently watching. Don't know why. I obviously need to look into that. I'm new to OBS and Twitch and Restream and yada yada. So any hints and tips, please chuck them in the chat. We got Dan has got Readability 5. Excellent. I wonder what Dan that is. Is this Dan we know? Is this the Dan we know that likes to play with Unistrut Dan? Is that the Dan we're thinking of?
Unistrut Dan. I don't know.
Lotus Dan. 13.
Lotus Dan.
Lotus Dan. Yeah.
Oh,
Lotus
there's
Dan.
a story for another day.
Lotus Dan. It sounds like. Whoa!
No.
Well, no, but that's what it sounds like. Lotus
Lots
Dan.
of trouble, usually expensive.
Yeah.
Or serious.
Yeah, lots of trouble, usually serious. Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of Dan. Right.
That kind of Dan,
We got
yeah.
some friends with us. Right. So as we were saying, last week I was ill, so I missed that. The week before I was flying, so I missed that. We're back this week, so it's been a couple of weeks of nothing has happened here. It's pretty much, I think the only thing that moved was the model aircraft. This is what we're building. It's a Sling TSI, which is a 4 seats, 900-ish nautical miles range. Fantastic, all metal airframe aircraft. Can get from like London to south of France quite happily. Cruising along 150-ish knots, which is about, 170-ish miles an hour. So pretty quick, and obviously in an aircraft, you're going a straight line, unlike around the M25, up the M1, across the M18, etc., etc. Use case is, mother-in-law lives in Newcastle. My family live out kind of towards Clacton Way, and me and Chris just love flying. We want to get around. Obviously, the expensive burger shack in some airfield miles away. So we're building one of these. The bit we're working on, horizontal stabiliser. So this part at the back, the small tower at the back of the aircraft, and that's what we're working on. That's what we're trying to build here. So what have we done so far? If you want to go back and watch previous streams, please do. Thumbs up, likes, and everything else on YouTube's. We have taken all the parts of the horizontal stabiliser. We've deburred them using our deburring tool. So the whole deburrer, which is whizzes rounds, and obviously some mini files that we only use for the aircraft and nothing else. And then we've used the twiddly deburrer, which goes along the straight edges to deburr that as well. So we deburred them. Then what we did was we worked out, looking at our drawings, which parts we need to dimple. And if you can probably see, if I come over here, that we dimpled these on the last episode. So you can see there's a dent in the top of the rib there. And what that is that then means that the rivet head will sit on top of that, and it'll be flush on the skin. So you've got less parasite drag. Parasite drag is the drag that little bumps and everything else, your wind mirrors on your car produce lots of parasite drag when you're driving along the motorway, so it's lots of air getting kind of disturbed. And parasite drag, and any drag for any aircraft is bad because it means you need more power to overcome the drag, because drag pulls you back, power makes you go forward, which means you use more fuel. So by getting all those rivets flush in the wings and the tail of the aircraft on the TSI, means it goes a bit quicker than the Sling 4, which is its predecessor, and also uses less fuel, which is good because fuel is expensive if you can get any. Actually, I don't know about you, but it's gotten the petrol idiots are no longer out there anymore.
No, I filled up before I came here tonight.
The garages are full of petrol. The only downside is that they've put the price up because obviously lots of people wanted it.
151.9 for diesel.
Yeah, that's not good.
151.
That's not good, is it? It's not
Dear,
good at all.
oh dear.
Not good at all. So where we're at is we've got it dimpled, and what happens is obviously these holes need to receive. Remember rightly, it's a 3.2 mil. 3.2 mil rivet goes through these. So because you're going to dimple it, obviously if you've got a hole and you dimple it, as you put the dimple in, obviously the hole gets a bit bigger. So what they do is they unsize the holes, you dimple it, and then what you need to do is run a drill through each and every one of these holes. There's 120 of them that we've dimpled on this section, and make it the size that's required for a 3.2 mil rivet, which means you drill it out to 3.2. So we've got some drill bits, we've got a drill, and then we'll come back to the other sections a bit later. So the idea is that we're literally going to go around and drill all of these.
We're going to do all of them, all 120.
All 120 is. It'll be seconds. So we've got 3.2, well, 3.3 mil actually, because you want it slightly bigger than the rivet. So we get one of those, and we'll get a drill.
120.
If anyone's got any questions, obviously place them in the chat. Happy to answer questions about. Nice new drill. How do we like this? It's kind of nice, isn't it? My Makita was starting to show its age, and she must be obeyed. Domestic management, whatever you want to call the wife. She decided that she wanted some work done in the house. So, unbeknownst to her, hopefully, fingers crossed, she's not watching the stream. I had to go and get myself a new drill.
If she is, just tell her how much you love her.
Yeah, I love you loads, honey. Chris made me do it. So we've got
Said with conviction.
Yeah. So we want. How do we get that set round to? That'll do. Right. So we're going to drill through these, and I did have the other drills in the house. If I'd got that, we could have both drilled, and we could have just both whizzed around.
We could have done. So we're only doing the dimples, nothing
We're only
else.
doing the dimple. The ones with the dimples is the ones we need to do.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
So, because
Not the
these,
others.
if you notice, these are slightly bigger.
Yes.
So these will not be that size because they're going to take the slightly bigger.
They're going to take the bigger rivets, yeah. The
So-
4 point, whatever it was, 4.8, wasn't it?
4
4
mil.
4 mil, yeah.
We've got 2.4 and 3.2.
3.2, yeah.
So if we drill these out, so see the drill is ever so slightly catching. So just drill it out. I want that to be quicker. There we go. That's how you do it.
So should I go and find the other drill?
So that's that side. So if you want to do that side, then what I'll do is I'll grab a rivet
Okay.
from our collection of rivets, which are over
Well, if you
here
get the other
somewhere.
drill, I mean, we've already got 2 hours on this
Yeah.
stream.
Well, we haven't. We've got an hour and a half.
An hour and a half. Oh, okay.
So, so there's vertical stack hardware.
Is that noisy on there, the drill? But there we go.
We got.
Still no more comments.
Where you
Oh,
like?
dear.
Right. Everyone's left. That's what it is. We've bored them already. So while Chris is doing that, we've got all the bits here, which is for the horizontal stabiliser. It all comes pre-packed. You take your noise over there. You know, can't get staff these days. So it all comes pre-packed, nicely labelled, and then you've got a barcode for each of the packets that you have in there. So if we look at these, we want the 3.2 countersunk rivets, and then we've got 3.2 domed rivets, because not all the rivets are countersunk. So we want one of these rivets at the top here, one of the countersunk rivets. So I'm just going to pop one out of the bag without damaging the rest.
I'll just crack
We've got
on
one
with
there.
this.
And then we will take it, and we should put it in there. If I come down to the camera, you'll see that this sits nicely in the dimple. And you can see the mandrel, which is this long flat bit here. That'll obviously get pulled out when we squeeze the rivet. And then obviously it'll get pushed on the other side. So that's going to sit lovely and flush and neat and in the hole for all of these. So we can check through there, and that's going to look great. You can see this bit is a little bit bent, but it's aluminium, so it'll bend back, and obviously we'll make it nice and straight when we've finished priming it and cleaning it. So that one's been done, so we'll put that there. And we'll hang on to our special one rivet, because we want to use that.
That's better. A bit quicker now.
Was it on slow, was it? Oh, it's on speed
It was
1.
It was on speed 1, so it's now on speed 2.
Yeah. So, Adrius Live, so that means that Pete's here. Hey Pete, how are you? Good to see you. Stream without you, mate. My wingman is missing. That is Pete, because we do on a Tuesday night at 9 o'clock in the evening, we do IoT Live, and we chat all things IoT, go through that week's news, and joining us on that stream is the fantastic Maria Anastasia, all the way from Rhodes, so for her it's quite late in the evening, but it's good, and yeah, come along and join us. If you like anything about IoT, and certainly the Microsoft stack, then come and join us on a Tuesday night at 9 PM. So how are we getting on, Chris, there's nothing on there needs doing, does it? That one doesn't need doing.
Yeah, that one does.
No, that one doesn't.
That's got...
Yeah, no, that one doesn't. There's
No, that's...
No.
Yeah.
That one don't.
No.
So they can go over there.
Yeah. So anything on the left-hand side is being drilled.
Yeah.
Leave it on that side. I've got a routine.
You got a method.
There is a method.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Then.
I suppose I know a little bit about computers, and if there's one thing computers are good at doing,
yeah,
it's the same rubbish over and over again.
Yeah. Saying nothing. Right. I tell you what. While you're doing that,
Yeah.
I'll go and get the other drill.
You go and get the other drill.
I'll leave my fluffy thing. If you've not played with these Rode Wireless 2 Go's, they're phenomenally good. I have one here with my little fluffy thing, and Chris has one there with his little fluffy thing. And then there's a little unit that's plugged into the PC, which receives. And I think this is number 1, so this is left channel. That's number 2, which is right channel, because I've got them split. And you can put them both on the same channel, so it's stereo, but they recommend that you have them split, a left channel and a right channel, which is probably why you hear me at your left ear and Chris at your right ear, even though we're back to front. So if we stand that way round, we'll be right. There you go. So, but yeah, if I leave that there,
you'll have to put up with listening to me, and I have no idea what I'm going to
say.
say.
I'm going to go get the other drill.
Yeah, so while he's going to get off another drill. So, yeah, so I get the interesting jobs. This is really nice. Grains of sand in a vase, I suppose. But yeah, it's quite interesting. We do actually have to make sure that we have this deburred because all of these parts will be looked at because we'll have an inspector who'll come along before we can do the final assembly. The inspector will come along and actually say, yes, it's been done. Yes, you've done this right. You've not done that right. This needs to be redone. So there is actually a lot of care and attention that goes into this. So while we're having a bit of a laugh doing this, we do actually want to make sure that we are doing things so we don't have to revisit it and do it twice. So, and this is where you find the battery's flat on that one.
No, it was on charge the other day.
Yeah? Okay.
So I need another drill now.
Yep.
So what we're using, I got these from a company called MCS, and a fantastic company in the UK. And these are just 3.3 mil HSS, high-speed steel jobber drills. So they're just perfect for this. And again, like with everything else, you want to keep your drills and your files, all the tools you use on this build, you want to keep just for the build. You don't want to take this drill and use it on a bit of steel or a bit of brass or something, because then you get cross-contamination of materials, and that's when you start to get dissimilar metal fatigue and corrosion, because obviously they've both got a different characteristics, and then that's where you start to get corrosion. Certainly if you start getting things like steel, etc., mixed in with your aluminium. So,
You got some new people joining?
have we? I don't know. I'm not sure. So we've got a few people on stream.
No questions yet. And we're limiting, for those who are new to this stream, we are limiting...
You've done that one?
You've done that one?
No, have you done that one?
No, I haven't done that one.
You sure?
Yeah, well, you know...
I don't know.
No, I haven't done it.
I don't know. Did he do it?
No,
Did you
I
watch
didn't do it.
Did Chris do this one?
No,
No, he didn't.
No, there we go. So we're limiting Cliff, for those of you who've watched this series so far, we're limiting to Cliff to one dad joke per stream. Although I think somebody last week, or not last week, the last stream came out with a really good joke about angles.
That was Macaulay that came up with that one.
Macaulay.
Yeah, that was a great joke, though, wasn't it? Something about Pythagoras.
Pythagoras, yeah.
Yeah. So should we do my dad joke? Should we get it out of the way? Yeah.
Yes. Have you been rehearsing this?
No, I'm not. I'm trying to think of one now. I do this with the kids quite often. Dad jokes. Why do they call birds that fly over the sea seagulls?
I don't know. Why do they call the birds who fly over the sea seagulls?
If they flew over, we called them. If they flew over the bay, they'd be called bagels, wouldn't they?
Bagels.
They got dad jokes. They've got to be bad, haven't they? So you know, if you've got kids, you know that your dad jokes have to be that kind of level of cringy badness. So there you go. Italian food, isn't it?
Well, yeah. Well, it's two of us doing it, yeah. So we'll have this plane built in no time.
Right, I wanna have to sit on the naughty step. I got timed out. I don't get why you're getting timed out there, Pete. Is there something that you're a kitty ABS-y person that I'm not? Is there something that I'm missing on this timing out? Because I don't know what you've done, but a few people get this. What I was gonna let me look. Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, Pete. The question I was going to ask though is how many watts a plane is born when it was on Discovery Channel, wasn't it?
Discovery.
Yeah. I'd say a show of hands, but you can't really put your hand up in the chat, can you? But let me know if you watched The Plane is Born. Because obviously they attempted to build a plane, and that plane flew, was it last year or the year before? I think it was last year, for the very first time it flew. And because obviously the production company didn't want to wait for the real aircraft to be built, so they cheated and borrowed one. There we go. Lotus Dan says he watched The Plane is Born. That's probably why you're here then, Dan. Look at that. Fit great, they do.
Cool.
So we've done that. We're not doing that or that at the moment, but we're doing these ones.
Okay.
So,
Well, there's two of them.
two of them, yeah, one each.
Yeah, one each. Where did you put the oven? Oh, it's down there. Okay, fine. And only the dimples.
No, but I do remember Robert Queensley, IT journal, build one in a show called Plane Crazy. It didn't go well. I've not heard of that one. Well, you'd have to put a, you have to let us know what that one was, because I haven't heard of that one. But as you can see, to build an aircraft, you don't really need that much in the way of skill, which is probably a good thing.
What are you saying?
Saying nothing. But you probably don't need much in the way of skills. You just need basic DIY skills. It's a little bit of drilling, a little bit of cleaning up and stuff. If we can do it, you can. And the good thing is that it's super cheap to operate an aircraft. Much cheaper than hiring an aircraft. Obviously, you've got the initial outlay. But the good thing is that once your aircraft is built, it's worth more than what the original kit costs, as long as you build it well. The original kit costs, you're more than doubling your money once the aircraft is built. So it's an investment as well. That's how I sold it to management. She was quite happy with that. Yeah. And I know she's not watching the stream because when I popped my head in earlier, she had some dodgy program on the TV. Some period drama thingy she's watching.
What, like Dalton Abbey or something?
No, she's just finished that the other night, so she's on to something new now.
Ah.
Did Pete manage to work out what he was? PBS was shown on ITV many years ago. No, I've not heard of that. I'm going to have to Google that one. Plane Crazy. I've not heard of that one at all, Richard.
There we go.
Did both sides, yeah?
Yep.
Cool. So there we go. Simple as that. That wasn't hard, was it? We've got both of those done. So what is the next step? We've got them dimpled. We've got them drilled out.
First, next step's cup of tea.
Cup of tea, yeah, that's a good idea. And we're going to make some more noise now. We're going to hoover.
Yep.
Because you want to keep your build service clean. Because obviously, if you're moving parts around, obviously all these bits of metal filing, swarf, will scratch the surface of your parts, which again is a fatigue risk later in the aircraft, so you want to keep that down to a minimum. So a nice little shop vac. We'll clean it all up, and I suppose you can keep all the bits as well. There's quite a lot in there now. There's quite a lot of bits.
Yeah,
of metal
resale
in there.
value
and
of
resale value. Yeah, aluminium. Yeah,
of
it's pretty good.
aluminium. Yeah.
And it's one of the reasons that they recommend that you cover your work surface, your bench. I just built this with some 2x4 and some ply. You cover it with some vinyl because obviously you can just sweep it clean. I would sweep it clean, but because I'm doing building work in the house, the broom and the dustpan and brush are in the house. So we'll just give it a once over with the Hoover.
Right.
Now we'll look at the drawings. So if we come across to the drawings, I'm going to find them over here because it's a bit more fun to get the drawings over on the PC.
So what we got?
Just getting them, downloading them now. There we go. And we will go to. We'll do.
Where would be we without
one.
this interweb
That
thing?
one, Inception, and then we'll come up with this. So you should be able to see my my desktop screen now. Air Swarf 1 says Lotus Dan. Yeah. Now I've got the music stuck in my head. Thanks there, Dan. And how comes all those missiles and bullets and nobody's ever hit? It's still good though, isn't it? It pumps the blood, doesn't it, as soon as you hear the theme tune. And I'm now thinking that everyone else that's listening is listening. Pete, I don't know what you're doing wrong, mate, and getting timed out all the time, but obviously you've been a naughty boy. And yeah, so here's the drawing. So these are the CAD drawings that we had before. So you should be able to see those and a little picture of me either side. So what we've done is we dimpled them, all these parts. So we just drilled them out as well. So we've done that, and we're not going to do the skin. The reason we're not going to do the skin is because the skin's up in a safe place up there.
They can't see
and,
you.
They can see me.
Can they?
Yeah. Look,
I thought they were looking at the...
It's that little
Oh,
camera
okay,
there, look, see,
fine.
it's that one up there. See.
There you go.
So, and these parts here. What have I done there? No. These dimples here are on the skin, and we'll do that when we get the skin later. What we're going to do is build the frame of the horizontal stabiliser. Then we'll call our inspector, Mark, and we get Mark to come over and inspect the frame and make sure that he's happy with the work we're doing and the quality of work we're doing, because he's not seen the build skills yet. So he signs off and gives us a little stamp in a build manual, which is up there on the shelf. And then what we'll do is we'll wrap the skin. And the idea is that if you wrap the skin first, he can't see what you've built because you can't see inside metal. So you let them see the frame and then you wrap it with skin afterwards. So we've done that. We'll do the dimpling later because we can worry about that later. And then this is talking about the fitting together. But we'll notice here that what does it cost for the inspection visits? You know what, Richard? They're volunteers working for the Light Aircraft Association. So they volunteer their time. And some inspectors have a set fee. Some inspectors do it for tea and biscuits. Some inspectors do it for tea and biscuits and petrol money. So each is different. So whoever your inspector is, you need to kind of have that conversation up front and make sure you're happy with the costs they're going to charge you. But even the ones that charge, I think the most, very cool. It is very good. The most they tend to charge is like £30-40 for an inspection is the most that I've heard of. And you probably need about kind of 20 or 30 inspections throughout the build, depending on how comfortable they are with your skills and how comfortable you are with your own skills and your own build. Obviously, if you are a bit nervous, you want a bit more help at the beginning, you have a bit more kind of them coming to inspect. If you feel a bit, gung-ho and off you go, your inspector might say to you, actually, you know what, before you get to that bit, I want to see it again. And once you get that kind of repertoire between the two of you, then they kind of hopefully will give you a bit of free rein to hopefully not hang yourself.
It is a very important part of the process, really, and their expertise is invaluable because we're going to be putting this together, and of course, once it's wrapped in the skins, you're not going to be able to readily be able to see fracture points or stress points. And of course, they're going to be looking that to see, how is the riveting being done? How's the deburring being done? Do the bits of aluminium actually fit together sensibly? Have they got any swarf caught between them? Because over the lifetime of the airframe, it's going to flex for various reasons. It will flex, and of course, if you have some burring in there, or you've caught some a part of a rivet, that will then grind into and create a fracture point, which will fail at some point.
Yeah.
So this process is very important.
Yeah.
And while we are newbies at really doing this, they're there to actually say, right, yeah, this is good. This will get through. It will get primed, and then it can be put in with the skin.
Then inspect it after it's been primed and that. So, Dan, you're asking any on the UK res? The RIS, if you Google Golf Oscar Tango Sierra India, go TSI. That is Tim's aircraft. He's the UK agent for Sling Aircraft. His one is built and flying. It's flying around and doing its test schedule at the moment. It's nearly finished its test schedule. Last I spoke to Tim was about a week ago. We was texting each other while I was ill, and he hopefully should have it signed off in a not too distant future, hopefully in the next kind of few weeks to a month. Obviously with the COVID stuff, the LAA engineers are a bit behind on signing off aircraft, so yeah. So Pete's saying, search for Twitch how to manage harassment in chat, then go to set a non-moderator chat delay and under chat. Right, you're going to have to send that to me on Twitter. I don't think it's a good time to be doing it now, Pete, and then I'll do it after the
We'll do that next time.
Next time, because I don't really want to be showing off that. I don't think if I was to do it now, I think you'd end up seeing all my my Twitchy stuff, which I don't think is probably a good idea to stream. But if you think otherwise, let me know, and we could do it now as a learning thing. So next, we need to countersink these 8 holes, and the reason we need to countersink these 8 holes is because they go inside this rib here, or inside the spar here, and they sit where some of these holes we've just drilled out, as you spotted earlier. We need to countersink those holes. Now, when they prep those holes, they drill them the same size as the holes that are drilled here, because they're match drilled. So they're undersized, and obviously, if you remember, these holes down here, we countersunk, and then we drilled them out 3.3. So when they started off, they were like 2.8 or something. So what we need to do is with these holes here, we need to drill them out to 3.3, so the rivet pops through, and then we need to countersink the tops of them so that the countersink of that spar sits inside, because this is quite a thick material. Switch scene to the main room camera in a bit, and then you can fettle without sharing your screen. I could, but then I'll be over there, Pete, playing with stuff. So let's swap across to the main camera, and oh, hold on, not that one, that one there, which is Chris, and we'll go over. So what we need to do is first thing I want to do is make sure that we're going to drill the right ones, and they should be good because as you can see, because we marked them before. Obviously, that hole is bigger than that hole, and they're the 4 that it says. And the reason that we're doing it is because when it fits inside this part and it goes inside like that, you can see that these 4 holes there line up with those 4 dimple parts there, and obviously it's not going to fit, and you'll see the fact that it doesn't fit. So we need to countersink those parts, but the first thing we need to do is drill them out to 3.3. So we will use our trusty vise to hold the part, because you don't really want to drill through a thick part hand with the that way round. That's about square. I don't want to do it by hand while I'm holding it, because it's just going to flex and go everywhere. So we'll just clamp it in the vise. Like that.
So on the Christmas list, have we got a pillar drill?
You know what? It is on my wish list, Chris. You know, a good friend would buy one, another good friend, something like that, wouldn't they?
Hello?
I'm just pointing out, you know, or if I get some, you know, rich person come and sponsor the channel, you never know. We could buy it anyway. So we've got that. We've got our 3.3mm drill, and we're literally just going to line it up and like through there. And what I'm going to do is move it along a bit,
so it doesn't bend.
So it doesn't bend too much. So that on there. go.
Other end.
Other end. And we want those 4. And you'll notice what I'm doing here, because I thought about it before, is I'm drilling from the inside out, and the reason is then put the burr on the outside, and that's where we're going to countersink from the outside. So I don't need to deburr the hole, because I'm going to deburr it when I do the countersinking. See, I thought about it earlier. See how clever I am. So
I'm not saying anything.
do. There we go. Do the same with these. Any more questions in the chat? No, not at the moment. Who here has got a light aircraft licence then? Or even has been up in a light aircraft, because many people haven't even done that, have they? Most people have only been up in a commercial aircraft. And you need to do that more often, you know, buy aircraft tickets like you bought toilet roll. Because, yeah, we kind of could do with some passengers now. Hopefully the US is going to open up soon.
November.
Hold on, I'll get that right now. It's that way around. That was it. That way. Did it right on the first one. Let's think about it then. November, rumour has it, November 15th. Can I get one in a box of Colours cornflakes? What, an aircraft or an aircraft ticket?
A licence. Oh.
A licence.
A licence in Kellogg's cornflakes, yeah.
If only. Up and had a go at the controls, but that was as far as it went. I should take it further, Richard. It's great fun. It is awesome. It's good fun.
If not, we have a simulator. If they're
We have a simulator.
If they're in the UK.
Yeah. In fact, actually, I think I gave a talk about that at Not So IoT, I think, didn't I, Pete? The BA mobile flight sim. I used to play Chocks Away on the Archimedes. The Archimedes is taking it back a bit there, Pete. You're showing your age there.
Oh dear.
The Archimedes. Right, so we drilled them out, but now we need to countersink them.
And we need to make sure we countersink the right way.
The right way, and also the right depth. Because obviously
Yes.
you don't want to countersink too deep. So what you do is you have one of these. Now this is a cool little tool. What this is a microstop countersink drill. So in there is the countersink, and it looks like one of these. And these come from an American company called Brown Aviation Tools. You can see it's countersink, and it's got a peg there. It's sized correctly. So this is the number 30, and the one we need is the number 21, and it's American, so they have an odd numbering system, but it's the right size what we need. Yep, it's that size. So we need to countersink this part here. So obviously this is going to go, actually I've got the wrong one in there. It's the number 21, it's the smaller of the two, Cliff, not the larger of the two, smaller of the two. So it literally just unscrews like this, and we will put that down, and we will screw in the size we need. So I bought these ones with a nylon base, and that's so it stops the scratching of any of the components when it's on there. But you can see as you push your drill against the material, it's going to stop the head coming out. And I'm not sure if you can see it just like that. It stops it coming out. So what you need to do is you undo the locking nut, you push it up and separate it, and then you can twist it a few stops, and you can seal the teeth in there, and that's why it's called a micro stop. And then what you can do is push it up and see that it's stuck out a little bit further. So what you do is you start it off with it sticking out just a little bit, yeah, and you check it with a rivet. And then what you do is you work out the fact that actually I need it a bit deeper, and you do a couple of clicks more because it's a micro stop, a couple of clicks more, and you get the depth right. Then the idea is you don't take it out and you don't touch it. So I've got two of these, one for this one and one for the other one. The other one's in my kit over there. These microstock drill bits, again, you can get them from Brown Aviation Tools, or you can get them from a couple of UK suppliers like LAS, who actually just buy them from Brown Aviation Tools and ship them over. But yeah, what's this going on here? It's going to be like Gibbs Boat and NCIS. We're going to be asking how you're getting this out of your workshop. We thought about that.
We're going to disassemble it and take it out.
No. The doors to the workshop over there are 2 meters wide and 2 meters tall. It's actually a square, and they're big French doors. And the widest part is the fuselage, which is just less than 2 meters. So this workspace and workshop was designed to build this aircraft. And when I was designing it and building it, when we was digging the footings, myself and my brother-in-law, we were digging the footings. We accidentally dug them about half a metre too far that way, really. We did, because management agreed the fact that we could build it so big, and we built it ever so slightly bigger. And then we poured the concrete, and it was a bit late then. So she did complain, but there's not much she could do about it. We poured the concrete. Yeah. Are the gloves good at preventing aluminium splinters? They are. These are just the cheapest ones that we could get from Screwfix. And you can see there, they're kind of worn a little bit already. They're the cheapest ones, and the reason is because you want to be able to feel through them, because you want a bit of dexterity, you want to be able to feel what you're touching. So we've got this, and we want to countersink the outer part there, so that's going to go through there. It's going to damage my bench, so what we're going to do is, and I should have got it earlier, grab a bit of wood.
You got a bit of wood.
A bit of wood. I'm going outside. So.
As you can see, we're super organised and we know what we're doing. We're making it up as we go along. We do have a plan. Just sometimes we end up being a little bit headless chicken mode with the plan. Certainly if you've had a busy day and suddenly going, oh look, we've got a stream to do. Oh, I see. Off to the pub. Off to the pub. Is this that boring? I mean, you know.
They can my dad jokes
yeah,
now.
okay. You see, it was off to the pub, and I thought, hello, what's going on here? Cliff was.
Oh, Cliff, I was what?
Off to the pub.
I was off the pub. No.
No. So you got a bit of wood.
Bit of wood. Then we can put it on, and then we can put that on there like that. And then we can push our microstock bit through there. And obviously we're going to need a slightly bigger hole, because this is going to go through, and the pointy bit that is controlling where it's going is going to get stopped. So I'm just trying to think of another way of doing this, Chris, where we can have it such that it drills through and there's nothing the other side. Actually, hang it over the head.
Well, you say nothing on the other side.
No,
Well, it doesn't matter if it goes into the wood.
No, because that's not got a drill on it, is it? So we're going to need to drill a hole in the woods.
Yeah.
To do that. So I'm going to need a drill bit to drill a hole in the woods.
What? You can't use those.
Can't use those
because they've got aluminium on them.
They've got aluminium on them.
Yeah. So we need another little drill.
Need another drill bit. And the other drill bits are in the house.
So the other drill bits are down the pub again. So, as I'm allergic to alcohol, I'll let him go down the pub and.
I'll go and get the other drill bits then.
Yeah.
Back to it.
So back to our organisational skills. Yes, we have planned this. Yeah, it has taken a little bit of time to plan, but in all seriousness, it's not to be rushed. It is important because if people are going to get in this plane, if Cliff and I are going to actually fly it, we want to know that we're actually flying something which is actually going to stay there. I wish I was allergic to alcohol. Maybe. Yeah, well, yeah, it's all to do with gluten and hops, barley, malt. As I was born in Glasgow, I used to be a big whiskey drinker, so I miss that somewhat. I miss it a lot, actually. It can make the weekend go very nicely, but there you go. Yeah, you can make up for it in other ways. So, yeah, and when you get a little bit old, maybe alcohol doesn't have quite the same appeal, or at least the hangovers don't anyway. So, right, how are we doing? We got a proper wood drill.
Proper wood drill. It's a bit old and manky, but it'll do the job.
Yeah.
What was you talking about? Weekends and getting drunk?
My allergy.
I wish I was allergic to alcohol. Maybe I am. You know, everyone's allergic to alcohol in large amounts. Yeah, I certainly am. A bit partial to a nice whiskey though. So.
Oh yes, yeah. Okay. Where's the
Oh no, I'll just do that and I'll clean it up later.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sure our very nice people here don't want to watch me hoovering all night long.
No.
I'll put that down there to make sure I don't accidentally use it on the wrong thing. So there we go, done that, and I can put that drill bit. We don't want that drill bit in there, do we? We want that drill bit.
Totally fell asleep putting the youngest to bed. Okay.
Hey, Carl's here. Hey, Carl. How did I know it was you, Carl? Just from that. So you should have just watched the stream, and you know you could have all fallen asleep doing that instead. So
You missed the dad joke.
you missed the dad joke. I'll tell it again, shall I?
No.
Fair enough.
Just watch the stream.
Yeah. So, like I said, we've got a Microsoft drill bit. This fits in the hole like that, and then what we're going to do is drill down and countersink the part. I'm just going to make sure that doesn't look too big.
Have we actually got a bit of aluminium we could test this on just to make sure before we go in?
No, I'm just going to back it up a bit. Yeah, it's fine.
I'm just sort of,
That's good, that's good. So hold that over there, we'll push that down there, and we will go like that. There you go. And where's our rivet gone? Our rivet is there, and all we need to do is push this through, and it needs to go a little bit more. So we'll undo the lock nut, do it like that, and we want to about quarter of a turn. About quarter of a turn is what everyone says is about the right amount to do it. So, there we go. Do that. And that is just a little bit off. It's that way around, isn't it? No, that way around. So that is there, and let's just match it onto there. Is it that one there? So it just needs a little bit more. So maybe another little bit of a turn. There we go. And that is pretty spot on. Yep. How's that look to you? Pretty spot on, because it's got to take the take that on there, isn't it? So we'll do the others, and then what we'll do is we'll test it in the there we go. So we've done those. Oh, we're going to need that.
now just getting rid of a swarf.
It's that way around, isn't it? And is that right? Yeah. So that is in there, and that now fits so that we can rivet through. So if we come over here, here we had our dimples in the spar here. We've countersunk these 4 holes, and then when this, if Chris can come and help line this up, when this lines up with the 4 holes at the end and it drops in, when it gets riveted, it will hold it flat, just like so. So obviously the countersinks come through, sit inside the rivets, and it holds it just like that. Now we've got that set, what we want to do is, if we can, never ever ever change this setting.
Yep.
It's on here. So what we'll do, make sure it's nice and tight. And then what I'm going to do is, I've got a paint pen here somewhere. I've got a paint pen here somewhere.
Put a mark on it, see if it slips.
It's not that. I want to put a mark on. I did have a paint pen.
Did you? There's a Sharpie over here.
No, it wasn't a Sharpie. It was a proper paint pen. Yeah, I did have a bunch of them. Oh, I know where they are, actually.
Don't tell me they're down the pub.
No, they're not down the pub.
Well, they're not in this building.
They're in the office, and I know why they're in the office is because I was using them the other week. Yeah, Jinx. Yeah, it's everything's down the bloody pub.
Yeah, what sort of testing can you do on the plane?
What sort of testing can you do on a
right.
plane once it's assembled before you fly it?
Well, we've got some test dummies lined up.
No, the testing, Pete, is we put you in it, and say good luck. No, what you do is once the aircraft's built, you hand it across to a test pilot who's just one of the LAA test pilot, who's basically an experienced pilot on light aircraft. I've got tens of thousands of hours flying big aircraft, but not many flying, a few hundred flying little light aircraft. So I'll hand it across to a test pilot. There's a test pilot who used to be a test pilot actually in real life for the RAF and the military, who's in our little group of sling builders in the UK. A fantastic guy called Al. So I'll hand it across to Al and say, Al, can you take? He'll take it for the first flight, which is basically getting airborne and flying around the circuit, landing again, and then taking off and doing it again. And once that first 30 minutes is put on the airframe and there's nothing, majorly bad and broken or odd with the aircraft and it handles correctly, then I'll jump in with him. We'll go off and do another kind of 40 minutes of flying around to make sure it's okay. Then Al can hop out, and then the rest of the test schedule, which is about, give or take, about 25 hours of a test flying, can be done by myself, as I'll be rated on the aircraft by then, and Chris can come along and write all the numbers down. And yeah, that's it really. And then we're good to launch and go and visit friends.
Well done. Bit of luck, I'll be rated. If I get me...
if you get your PPO in time, yeah.
What do you mean if I... Hold on.
Chris is training for his PPO at the moment, which is your private pilot's licence, the first kind of licence you hold as a pilot.
It's not going to take me 2 years to finish this off.
Yeah, well,
Oh, ye have no faith in me.
Oh, yeah.
It's still
So there we go. That's that one done. Like I said, because I drilled from the outside in, it's deburred the hole for me at the same time. So we've done that one. We've got more questions in the chat there. I'm up for that. Exciting, must be cool. It is really exciting, actually. I'm really excited about this whole project, really. It's, there's some IoT projects as well that's going to be coming off the back of this. So you better follow those as we do them. And then, I'm looking forward to being able to fly around the UK and Europe and visit meetups and stuff like that, and just fly in. Instead of spending 6 hours in the car last weekend going up to DDD East Mids, I can just fly in. I'll come this way a little bit, Chris, because I want to get the support off the back end of that hole. There you go. A bit more this way. There we go. Yeah. It's just popped up my watch actually, because Sander van der Velde is messaging us, Pete, again, about Tech Days, which is coming up on November 15th. If you're all about IoT, you can come and watch myself, Pete, and a bunch of other IoT specialists in the Azure stack, and we're talking about flying, basically. And we're going to show you how to take an ESP32, and which is a little cheap IoT board. That's done, I think, Pete. Chris, you want to check both ends? So an ESP32. This is an ESP32 cam, so it's got a camera, but if you take the camera out, it's a normal ESP32. So a little cheap device like this, which costs about $10. And how we're going to connect that with some .NET and C#, because we all love .NET and C#. And how to connect that to Azure IoT Hub, and then from there send up data that we're currently gathering using a Raspberry Pi connected to Flight Radar 24, which is over in the corner over there. It's been there for quite a while. Actually, it used to be in the house. It's been in the house for over a year, but we moved it out here fairly recently. And we're going to stream that data from an ESP32 up to IoT Hub, and then we're going to have someone like Sando who's going to show us, I think Sando's doing the time series insights bit. We're going to do a bit about tweeting out when some anomalies are detected, and then we're going to have a bit of Power BI from Johnny Chips. So yeah, it's good. Cliff, you should give away a Go in the Simulator as a prize on Tech Days. Which simulator are we talking here, Pete? Are we talking the big 787 simulator? Or are we talking the mobile flight sim? So I think Jess should have let us have the mobile flight sim up at DDD East Mids. It would have fitted in there lovely into the Nottingham University. It would have been great fun. So yeah. So that is pretty much, that one there is a little bit shallow. So I couldn't have pushed down enough, which is why I was just checking. So we'll just give that a little tweak. So there you go. You can see that one there as well is a bit shallow. There you go. So hold on, I want to check the other one now. Yeah, there we go. Then we'll just check this one. Let's go through and check them all. The BA one. Well, you're coming down for that soon, aren't you, Pete? When you and the Azurist Live team coming down to have a play? We was organising that, weren't we? In playing the we train as commercial pilots. We have big simulators. You've probably seen them on boxes on stilts. Used to do the Krypton Factory. Who remembers the Krypton Factory? They used to use the simulators at BA at Heathrow and that one there as well. And yeah, so we can use them for training, for crew training, which we do every 6 months, 2 days. Yes, I blooming well am, but I imagine that as a prize for folks coming along to Tech Days, that'd be worth winning. You know what, Pete? I think I need to chat with our team at work about that stream. So you know what, I might suggest that. It's a good idea actually of seeing if we can give away a flight in one of our simulators in the sim hall, like an Airbus or a 787. That should be quite cool actually. I need to speak to them because I need to make sure they're happy that we're going to use you know, the branding, the airline branding on the stream. If not, we'll have to come up with an airline name like, I don't know, Azure Airways or something. I was thinking of Pluralsight was sponsored 12-month sub. That's a great idea as well. But then what competition are you going to do? Are we going to do a, we could do a, like we did for DD East Mids, the Clad Skills Challenge. I'm sure they would be all over that. Adam would be all over that like a rash. So just get rid of all these big burrs. So you thought you was coming along here just to watch two bald guys building a plane. I do like that. Who was it who come up with that? I like that a lot. Two bald guys building a plane. But obviously we're talking about tech, we're talking about IoT, we're talking about Microsoft and Azure, etc, etc. So yeah, where we're up to. Let's go back to the drawings. So we are.
Yes, quite right.
Inception.
It is about planes.
Yeah. So a bit of inception. Back to the drawings. So now we've deburred this. Now the important bit is, like I said before in the previous streams, you can't just go step one, step two, and you know, as it says up here, and go through and think, yep, I've got that. That's okay, because things like this will get missed. Countersink 8 holes. Do not rivet these 4 holes. We can worry about that later. So we countersink those 8 holes, and they all fit together. We're okay there. Now we're looking at these. Don't rivet these holes, and we're looking at these. We need to find this part here, number 17. So Chris, if I read out the part number for number 17, which is all the way up here, and number 17 is that number there. So it's hinge bracket 1, and it's HS for horizontal stabiliser, HBK for hinge bracket, 001 because it's number 1, and there should be 2 of them, Chris. There should be, if we go back across to the there should be on this shelf down here. Because all the brackets are down there. Right?
So what we're looking for?
HS hinge bracket 2. So it's not that one. We're looking.
I've got 001 XA
hinge bracket 1. So it's hinge bracket 1. That's the one.
Yep.
But that looks nothing like the drawing.
Yeah, no, that's
Because this is kind of curved.
So
And
what page you're on?
we will go back to our here, and we wanted hinge bracket 1, which is there. And is that because there's 2 of them?
Ah, well, you never know.
That looks like that there looks nothing like that. So maybe there's 2 of them.
Is there 2 of them back to back?
That's what
Or
I'm wondering. There's 15, is that there as well. There's 16. And that's what it looks like
yeah,
it's
you've
built.
got a few bits of cable on top of. Oh no, here we go. What we got here? Right.
So 17 is
hold on,
over here.
hold on.
And we've got,
no.
there should be 2 of them. So hinge bracket 1, hinge bracket 2, and hinge bracket 3. So here's 15, 16, and 17. And
Hinge
then there's a
bracket
16
1, 2, and
17.
3.
And there's 4 of the 15. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 of the 16. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's 2 of the 17. 1, 2. So that obviously is what it is. So we need to find all the hinge brackets.
HPs, yeah.
All the hinge brackets 001, there should be 2 of those. There should be 4 of the 002s, and there should be 4 of the 003s. So,
Well, that'll be this little lot then.
yeah.
Right, okay. So, hold on a minute. Of course, the barcodes have been not very...
Twisted and bent, but we just need to read the number underneath it. So that is bracket 2. That is bracket 3. That is bracket 3, bracket 3. Bracket 3. That is bracket 2. And is
That's one.
bracket 1.
Yep.
So we've got 1, 2, 3. Woo. So they must go back to back like that and get riveted in.
Yep.
So, yeah. So we've got the brackets. Put those over there, out of the way for the minute. And we've got all of our components here. So we can go back to the drawings.
So we need to find those components because that'll be around this side.
I like Carl. Anyways, this is about planes. I think it's getting way more complicated than that. We should do a treasure hunt. Oh, treasure hunt.
Treasure hunt.
Yeah, treasure hunt. Well, Annika Rice. Stop the clock. Stop the clock. Yeah, I think that's a cool idea. Anyway, it's about planes. What happens if you go wrong on this? Well, if you go wrong, you have to go and get your wallet out and buy more parts from Sling, the aircraft factory down in South Africa. So not only will it cost you more money, but you have to wait many weeks, if not months, for the parts to arrive from South Africa. Certainly with the shipping problems are at the moment. Carl says need a progress indicator in the background. See how far the build has gone. I like your thinking there, Carl.
Yeah, that will start down here somewhere.
Yeah, we'll have like a, well, we could do it horizontal or vertical, I don't know.
Oh, well, it starts
yeah,
off that
100
direction.
LEDs and a Pico or an ESP32. Well, we've got a Pico.
Ooh.
We've got one here.
Bit of tech talk there.
There's a Pico. We've got one there. I don't want to take it out of the packet because I quite like the fact that this is the one I got with my Hackspace magazine. So I'm not taking that one out of the packet, but I've got plenty of others over here I can use.
Are we getting back to plane build?
Spots. Going wrong is bad. Yeah, going wrong is very bad. Very expensive.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And
so look,
time consuming.
and time consuming, yeah. So look at the drawings again. So we've got all the parts there. We've got all the parts here. And we've got all these parts here, which is showing, and we need to put it together. So the next part of the build is literally to prep all these parts for spraying. So what we're going to do is we've got all the parts deburred now. We've got all the parts dimpled. We've got the holes correctly sized. So the next part is to prep them for spraying. What we'll do first though is we'll prep those brackets, make sure they've not got any burrs on them, and number them correctly, and then we'll show you how we prep for spraying. So if we go back to the build cam, and which is that one, let's show Chris. So we've got our brackets, so these ones here, and turn it away because it's my check. Have you checked all the parts are there? We did, and one of the things we did there, Pete, is you can see they've got a barcode on them. And what you have to do when the kit arrives, you get the packing list. in the box, and you have to manually go through and find the part and find the packing list, and you tick it off. And you find the next part, you find it on the packing list, and you tick it off. And it's mind-numbingly boring. It took us a couple of hours just to do the empennage kit, which is the smallest kit that gets delivered. The wings kit and fuselage kit takes forever to do. So what I'm doing as part of this build is I am, once I've got bits sorted, I'm photographing each and every component. The big components, not obviously the rivets and stuff, but each and every component I'm photographing using Azure Percept, which is up on the shelf up there. They're going to go up into the cloud and get stored. And then what I'm also doing is building a mobile app, which will using Zebra Crossing, which is a NuGet package you can pull into a mobile app like Xamarin, and it will read the barcode and give you the code, which is actually the HSHBK001 code out, and then you can use a bit of C# code and look it up on in the Cosmos DB is what I'm thinking, and from that pull down an image that we already took with the Azure Percept, and then show that to the user. So they'll black the barcode with their phone, and it'll show you a picture of the component, what it should look like, because if you've got two components like this, these are identical. But what if that was left and that was right? And because that one had an extra hole in it, for example, you want to show that to them so they can see and make sure that they got it correct. Because it has been known that in the factory, they just stick the barcode on and black it, and yep, we've got that in the box. They don't check whether they got the correct left and right. They just trust the barcode was fitted correctly. And there has been quite a few occasions where parts have been incorrectly barcoded. So that's one of the things. But also, when you take this off,
Anybody want to count some rivets?
Yeah.
This is why the barcoding is important, because don't really want to count 20,000 rivets.
Yeah. So we've taken that off, and we accidentally lose the barcode. I'm going to place it over there because I want it for later. Now what component is that? Is it bracket 1, 2 or 3? We could look at the drawings, and it would take us a while to find it and then work it all out. We don't know. So the next part, and this is, I'm going to need a bit of help because I'm no machine learning AI expert. The next part is to take a picture of your phone and have it go up to Azure, and using a bit of machine learning, have Azure tell you which component it thinks it is. Yeah, and hopefully that will help you narrow it down and find it in the drawings. So that is the plan. So it's a two-part, one going from barcode to show you an image, and one going from image that you take with your camera up to the cloud to come back and say, actually, I think it's bracket number, which one was this? Bracket number 1, and tell you there. Now, the good thing is, once we've built this aircraft, we'll have all the images for all of this kit. And then what I'm going to do is obviously offer it to other builders. But then there's nothing wrong with that system being used for other aircraft types. Be it an RV, because there's hundreds of those in the world. RV7s, RV8s, RV12s, RV9s, that sort of thing. Or a Bristol, another aircraft that's built. So there's lots of aircraft that will have this, and they all work with the same system. They have a barcode, you take it off, and it's like, well, I don't know what that is. Now, what a lot of builders do is what we've done here is with a Sharpie, we write the number on the inside. Yeah? And I know what you're thinking, well, you've got number written now, Cliff, you don't need to worry about it. But now we're about to prep this for spraying, for priming. So what we're going to do is we're going to prep this by taking a Scotch-Brite pad, which is like a red Scotch-Brite pad. Now this is the same kind of material that is the green stuff on your soap sponge that's next to your sink you do dishes with. It's just the red one is a little bit more harsh. And then we're going to literally over the whole part clean it up. But look what happens when I go across the numbers. They start to come off. So we have to do it to prep it for spraying, but they're going to start to come off. Then what we do is we're going to prime them. And I'm not going to the part, I promise you.
There is a question about the primer.
If there's only some sort of AI solution, there is, we're building one. What primer are you using? Well, Lotus Dan, I'm using Tetrasil. It's a primer. Where's it gone? It is. Yeah. That's the thinner. That is the etch primer. So I'm using this. It's a Tetrasil etch primer, and it gives you a nice, lovely green colour like this. So this here was sprayed about a year and a half ago. There's 3 of these, and it's been living outside in the rain and the snow and the wind and the hail and everything else. And you can see there, it's pretty bulletproof. If I was to take a screwdriver, so a standard screwdriver, and do it across there, it's going to take it off. But it's etched into the top layer of the aluminium. So even though I've scratched through it, there's still some primer there that's going to protect our parts. So underneath there, we wrote our names in Sharpie, and then we sprayed over the top. And you can't really see it, can you? Because we wrote our names, then we Scotch-Brighted it, and then we once we Scotch-Brighted it, then we sprayed it, and we can't see our names. So that proves the point again that writing a number on there is fantastic, but then you're going to paint it and you're going to lose that that number. So I know what you're thinking. Well, Cliff, what you can do is use little tags like these. You know, like the little labels you put in your presents at Christmas. You had a name for them, Chris, didn't you? I forgot what they're called.
Toe tags.
Toe tags, yeah. So we can use toe tags. So we'd write that part number on a toe tag, and we'll connect it to the part. So when you're spraying it, you've got it hung up, and you're happily spraying away in your spray tent. And when you take it down, you know that's still angle 001 XE2, which is great. And then you can write it back in there in the thing. But that's a lot of effort to go through just to keep a part number attached to a part. If my idea of take a picture of your camera and it then works, it then means you don't have to keep going through all these processes just to keep a part number on there. And if you do lose one, like the toe tag comes off, for example, because you're messing around and it just pops off, then at least you can get back to a part number that you can know and trust. So, what prime use it? The optimal one. Yeah, I was Optimus Prime. Yeah, optimal one. I like that car. Optimus Prime. So yeah, X primer. Tetrasil is used. Your car, if you've got a car, will probably be using a Tetrasil product because it's used heavily in the car industry. I spent many years in the car industry working as an engineer, so I trust this product. Another product you can use, it's used by Boeing and Airbus and Bombardier around the world, is a product called Aerowave 2001. Problem with that is a couple of litres costs you about £300. And you have to have a special cost license as an aircraft builder to be able to buy it now from the manufacturer. So what you end up having to do is buy it from the kit importer, and obviously it's expensive, and you have to look after it. It's got a shelf life, so once you open it, you've got to use it in a couple of months, and you might not be ready to use it. Tetrasil is pretty much bloody bulletproof. And this tin here costs about 40 quid on eBay. You can buy it from Amazon, you can buy it from anywhere. It's like 40 to 50 quid for 5 litre tin. And you know, it doesn't have a shelf life. It will just, as long as you close the lid off, it'll have a little bit of a skin on top, but you can cut that off and you're good to go again. So yeah, it's good stuff, and it does the job that you need. Because ultimately, once you've sprayed it with your primer, it's going to be inside the structure, and there's never really going to be anything sharp going in there, is there? Any point where you're going to see it is then going to have a top coat of white, red, blue, whatever colour you paint your aircraft. So you don't need to worry about it too much then. Buffering. Oh no. No, we hate buffering. Maybe the kids are watching too much YouTubes and stuff. But yeah. So the next step for us is to prep all these parts for spraying by sanding them all down, and then taking lots and lots of pictures using it as a percept. We've been streaming now for an hour and 11ish minutes, so I think these parts, in fact actually, if we write these part numbers on there, they're pretty much okay to go. There's no deburring required on these. So if you want to open that one,
yep,
and we'll sharpen numbers on, and then we will.
So we're not going to do the streaming of.
It's hardly done. What's hardly done? So
I'm just thinking about showing them how paint dries. I'm
Well,
going
I'm sure
to
they'll
look forward
watch
to that stream. Yeah,
yeah.
you'll have to get up early in the morning for that one.
So there you go. There's one bracket. So if you peel them and hand them over, hardly buffering. It's been dead good. I'm glad you like it, Pete. So yeah, so obviously I need to keep all the barcodes as well because I need to scan those into the Xamarin app. And I'm hoping to use the new Maui bits when they are ready. At the moment they're not, and I'm not sure if you're a follower of the .NET world, but .NET 6 comes out in November. 8th and 9th is .NET Conf. Sign up for it, it's completely free. The Maui bits are not going to be part of .NET 6 as was planned because they're not quite ready. And hats off to the team, David Ortnow and co, for actually delaying the release of Maui because they could have got the pressure from the top from one of the Scots, Scott Goon, Scott Guthrie, etc. To actually know you're going to push, you're going to release it, or the marketing team. No, we've done all this thing, we're going to push. But actually they stood up and said, we're not ready, we're not going to be ready, we're not going to release bad bits. Which I think for Microsoft is pretty powerful and pretty good. The fact that they've shown to the community that actually what it's more important that we get this right than just release anything. That was I can't even read the part number on that, Chris. So I'm gonna have to match it to another part. Now only we had that that did that. That is the same as that, isn't it? So yeah. Are you checking these to make sure it's all been deburred? Look at that. It's quite nicely deburred,
Yep.
isn't it? So yeah. Well, any other questions in the chat before we call it a night? Three.
Any limitations on the colour you can paint the plane?
No, none.
Um,
You can paint it whatever
Pink
colour
with
you
blue
want.
dots, does that appeal
Yeah.
to anybody?
Hardly
It
buffered.
doesn't appeal to
Oh
me,
no,
so
Pete
it's
got
not gonna
banned
happen.
now. Then still can't paint a plane. Could you get a flame job of racing stripes? I'm thinking of racing stripes. A pinstripe down the centre. All the same one, Chris.
That's why I'm putting the part on top of the barcode, so when you
I
lift
know,
the
but
part
that's
up,
the barcode that's got the
yeah. And last of the small angle. See, this one wasn't even put into a...
So you look at the, I'm going to show you this one, because this is an example of how bad, not sure if you can see it there, how bad the printing is on there. So you can see it's not brilliant to read in. I know I'm an old git, but you can't really make out what's written there. So the idea is reading the barcode. When we part check this, it was obviously quite difficult to check the fact we had the right parts. Hinge bracket 3 clevis is what that says. Horizontal snare bracket, yeah. So we, reading the barcode, what you had to do when we part checked this was find one that you could actually read and then hold them together. It's like, yeah, that must be the same. And they're in the same kind of bag, so you can narrow it down that far. But again, once they're on the shelf, you haven't a clue. It's only the fact that I put them together, because I knew they needed to be together, that we could get away with it. So apparently I've done 10,000 steps, Chris. Yay!
Really?
So apparently, yeah.
Well, where have you been today?
I don't know. Well, walking the woofs.
Ah, well, walking the woofs, yeah, that will certainly put a few on.
So yeah, so there's lots of tech that's going into this aircraft, lots of tech that's going to be used, because we all love tech, we all love to play with tech. Hinge bracket 002 x80. Zero. So you can hear me talk while I'm writing because that's the way my brain works. Yeah. Any last questions before we call it a night? And we'll move on next week to getting these parts prepped for spraying. Now, when we do the spraying, I do want to stream that part, but it's only going to have to be not because I want you to watch me with paint drying, but the idea is I want to show some of the techniques that I got taught when I was an apprentice back in the day for spraying, because the idea of this stream is the fact that the next person that's building one of these that's following along can quickly watch the streams and learn the little tricks and tips that I'm hopefully putting across to camera for the next builders, and maybe maybe you're going to be a builder yourself, and follow along as well by building your own sling aircraft, because these tips and tricks are not unique to the sling aircraft. They'll be the same tips and tricks that you need when you're building an RV or Bristol or something like that, or one of the other sling aircraft. You know, the Sling 2, which is a 2-seat one, hence the name 2, the Sling 4, which is a 4-seat one, or the TSI, which is what this is. And it's called a TSI, so it's got a turbocharged engine, so which is awesome because it goes quicker and faster and it's nicer and it climbs better. Or even the new high wing, which is, instead of this being a low wing, which is like that because the wings are down the bottom, the high wing is where the wings, they've glued them to the top of the aircraft, and so it's high wing. And there's advantages and disadvantages of the two. Obviously, when you're on a turn in a low wing aircraft, you can see down into where you're going, into the space where you're turning into, because you can look out the window, so it's safer. But when you're looking down at the ground, you have to look in front or behind the wing. If you've got a high wing, you're picked for viewing. But as soon as you turn into, if I put that on top, as soon as you turn into a turn as a pilot, you then can't see into the turn where you're going because the wing's in the way. So that's one of the disadvantages I don't like. I find high wings, I don't know why, I feel a little bit in a turn, a little bit unsafe because you can't see the airspace and check it's clear, whereas low wing you can. Plus I think a low wing is a little bit sexier and nicer. Personally, that's a personal preference, but there you go. So we've prepped all the parts. They're ready for sanding down and cleaning with a Scotch-Brite pad, which is probably about 40 minutes of boredom. And then they're ready for painting. So what we're going to do off stream, we're going to connect up our Azure set, and then we're going to photograph all the parts and put them up into the clouds, ready for building this app out. And then the next time you join us, it'll probably be during the day, because we need to spray, which is going to be outside in our spray tent, which we've got here, which is effectively a pop-up tent, and we'll do that outside, and we'll spray all the components, and we'll show some hints and tips on spraying and the tools we're using, and then we'll come back and we'll pull that all-important first rivet, which I can't wait for. That's going to be awesome, that is, pulling that first rivet with our rivet gun. But yeah, thanks a lot for joining us. If you've got any more questions, Carl's back. He says, I'm back, Carl, I got timed out, boo, thanks very much, and catch us later. Yeah, thanks. It's Pete that got booted again. He keeps getting timed out. Pete, I'm going to go back through the chat. If you've still got that link to that page you was on about, if you can ping it over to me on DM on Twitter, I'll pop in and fix that now, and hopefully it will solve it for next week. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you've enjoyed watching us build so far. It's just coming along quite nicely. Another hour and 20 minutes into the build timer. I think we're up to about 4 hours now. Most of it is talking and dad jokes rather than actually building. We probably would have got as far as this in the first couple of hours, but he likes to talk, this one. I can't shut him up.
Can't get a word in edge.
Anyway, thank you very much, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Good night.
Bye-bye.
No, not secret stuff.